What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 64, and we start today's episode off with transfer deadline day. Yes, deadline day is upon us, as you see the top deals there in the bottom right. Some massive money getting spent in this summer transfer window. And we start off with a couple of bids for our players as well. Mason Ward, we accepted this very cheap deal here for the young right back who only shows great potential. And DCL, who of course started the season off really well, scored against Chelsea. It's now 4 goals of the season already for the former Everton man. Spurs wanted to take him to London, and Mourinho put in a bid of £21 million, but I was like, no way, DCL is staying here. But also, you might have seen real briefly here as the clock was running down. We now had 7 hours left on deadline day. I saw a little notification at the top right saying I'd sold a player, and I got some of that EASFC credit for it as well. And it turned out it was Mason Ward, the deal we just accepted with 10 hours to go. But we didn't get notified of that deal. And as you'll see, deadline day does officially end here. So we spend £60 million in the window on Wilfred Ndidi and Alfredo Morelos. And of course, we brought in that free agent Brazilian holding mid as well. See the top deals: Ali to Real Madrid, Lo Celso to Man City, and Timo Werner leaving to Juventus as well. So we leave £15 million in the budget for January. And of course, in the last episode, I did discuss it. I was thinking about bringing in a new centre-half on transfer deadline day. Of course, we started the season off really poorly, already 2 defeats in our opening 4 games, yet to keep a clean sheet in our first 4 games as well. As you see, our full list of negotiations here. I didn't realise, but Norwood has gone to the same club that Elliot Harris has left to on loan. I really like that. Harris going out to Frosinone on loan, and now our former club captain is going to help him there, help him settle in, and that makes the sale look even nice, doesn't it? But yeah, I don't think, to be honest, anyone we could have brought in on transfer deadline day for around, again, 12 to 15 million pounds in the budget right now would make enough difference to us. I trust the boys we've got right now. As you see, we had a bid here for Jamal Lewis. We didn't get notified of anything happening past the first hour on transfer deadline day. Manchester United put in a bid for our left back of £15.8 million. Of course, now he plays central midfield in our team, and I was going to reject it regardless, but it would have been nice to have known about it on transfer deadline day and not until the day after the window had slammed shut. That's the one time you don't want your fax machine to break, is transfer deadline day. Like, all of our communication was down on deadline day. Mobile phones, cellular data, Wi-Fi, everything went down on transfer deadline day. We were officially left in the dark. But yeah, the board have asked us this season to qualify for the Champions League, and that is going to be incredibly tough to do. Break into the top 4, take out 3 of the big 6. I mean, last year it was hard enough just finishing in the Europa League spot. This year, finishing in a Champions League spot, it's going to be tough to do. You know, I trust the team will give it everything. I like the team we've got. I really like the score we built here at Bramwell Lane. I didn't want to make desperation signings on deadline day, and that's the reason why I decided to keep my cash in my wallet and not decide to bring anyone in, because I like the team we've got. Yes, it's been a tough start. Yes, it's not exactly been what we were hoping for. But last season, you know, we had an amazing year in the Premier League. I'm not sure if we're going to repeat the same sort of stuff again. Remember last season, we went on like a 13 or 14 game unbeaten run to end the campaign off, and that's what cemented a 5th place finish. I don't know whether this team has got the quality to finish in the top 4, but I didn't want to panic buy someone on transfer deadline day and end up regretting it and end up with someone I didn't really want. So I've left £15 million in the budget, and maybe there'll be some good deals available in January. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But for now, I like the squad. We just need to play a little bit better with it. But still, following that, we had 2 international qualifiers with England for Euro 2024. We lost the first one, the group opener, to Portugal, but beat Bulgaria by 5-0 to redeem ourselves. You see our full group there. Not an easy group, that one, in order to finish in the top 2. And I have discussed it before. I don't think I will be playing the qualifiers with England. Now, I know some of you guys have said it would be quite nice to do it, but the reason I don't think I will is because in my old school career modes, I never played the qualifiers for World Cup or European Championships or South America Cup or whatever. I never ever played the qualifiers. I always simulated them, and because I'm trying to make this series quite like my old content, I don't think I want to change things up too much. I'm open to it. Perhaps for a big qualifier, you know, maybe a game we need to win to cement a qualification spot, I might play it, but for now, I think I'll just stick to simulation like the good old days. But still, for our first 2 games today, we will take on the the Gunners as Unai Emery's, or not Unai Emery's side now, Freddie Ljungberg's Arsenal will come and take us on at Bramall Lane. And of course, on the back of the 3-1 defeat away against Chelsea, heading into this game, after playing 4-2-2-2 in our last two games, I decided to revert back to 5-3-2 and the system we've been more familiar with throughout the course of the series. But right now, it doesn't seem like it matters what formation we're playing. We're just not playing well regardless of the tactics. Early on in the game, Henderson made a great save to keep us tied at 0-0, but it was only a matter of time before the Gunners would go in front. And 23 minutes in, it was just too easy. Wilfred Ndidi was just running around like a headless chicken. Davy Klaassen rolled it into Mariano. And once again, as you've seen throughout the course of the start of the season, for some reason, we're just not marking correctly. We're letting players run in front of our centre-backs, get a bit of space inside the area, and once they find space, they find the back of the net as well. 1-0 and all throughout the first half. Despite Ndidi's effort, well saved by Leno, it was Arsenal's half, and they should have been 2 or 3 goals off the break, and had it not been for Dean, they would have been so as well. Late on in the half, Justin Kluivert played through. Great stop by the goalkeeper though, and we should have been 2 or 3 goals down at the break. But at half-time, I thought this isn't working. 5-3-2 just isn't working right now, so I switched to a 4-1-2-1-2 diamond narrow system, if you will. And I took off 2 of our best players as well. Scott McKenna, who is now official club captain after the sale of Oliver Norwood, and also Ivan Toney. Last year, Premier League record breaker with 40 goals, and that was both for tactical reasons and to make a statement as well. These 2 are supposed to be my leaders in the dressing room that step up out there when we're not performing, pull their socks up and get us back in games. Quite frankly, they just weren't doing that in this game, so I took them off. I said, right, have an early bath, sit and watch the boys in the second half, and I'm sure we'll put in more fight out there without you 2 on the pitch, because at the moment, we're just not performing, and you 2 aren't leading by example. I'm looking for you to be our leaders in this team, and in the second half, after switching the tactics and making those changes, bringing on Jamal Lewis and Alfredo Morelos, we did look far better. We looked much stronger in the second half without those 2 in the pitch. So we were playing really well in the absence of McKenna and also Toney as well. We couldn't find an equalising goal despite a few good chances. Ollie Shaw almost scoring his first goal for the club with that shot being deflected and put wide. We did lose 1-0 the final score. The first game this season, we failed to get a goal in. But you look at the stats at full time, we really turned it around in the second half. Much better performance, much better display, and now we have better finishing. We probably could have found an equalising goal. However, we didn't. It is a 1-0 scoreline. Arsenal get the win. It's our first home defeat of the season, and it is now 3 defeats in our opening 5 Premier League games with Sheffield United. Now, that is very concerning indeed. I'm not going to hit the panic button just yet. I got the big red panic button on my desk. It's not getting hit just yet because there's no need to. It's 5 games into the season. There is plenty of the season left to go. As you see, Xavier Morale is going out to FC Basel on a seasons-long loan come January. And also, you see here our Europa League group. Group L, we've got Mönchengladbach, Vitoria Guimarães, and Austria Vienna, our 3 sides in the Europa League group. I'm not going to hit the panic button just yet, because again, it's 5 games into the season, and we've had a tough start. We've already had to face 3 of last year's top 7 in our opening 5 games. Chelsea and Everton away, and Arsenal at home. It's not going to be easy, but 6 points from 15... Really? That is not Champions League form. We're going to need to sort it out, and we're going to need to sort it out sooner rather than later. So for our second and final game of today's episode, pressure on myself already. So early on into the campaign, after just 6 points in 15 games to start the Premier League off, we will now take on Austria Vienna away in Austria for our first ever European game and the Europa League group opener here against the Austrian side. And we would line up in that 4-1-2-1-2 diamond narrow system that we played in the second half against Arsenal, where we did play well, and I would put in Scott McKenna and Ivan Toney. They would start this game after coming off the bench in the game against Arsenal, where quite frankly they're just not play well. And heading into this game, I wanted to make a statement, have a much better performance out there, and see Toney and McKenna put in much better shifts. Straight away in the game, Morelos almost made it 1-0, but whilst he didn't score the first goal, he did provide it. Played over the top for his strike partner, and after being subbed off at half-time, it was great to see Toney respond just 27 minutes into the game with a goal, and his first ever in a European competition. Runs to Joe Hart on the sidelines. God knows why he was warming up. Maybe Dean had pulled a can be taking a goal kick, I don't know. But still 1-0, Tony with the goal, and 1-0 already for Sheffield United. And right from the first whistle in this game, we were playing sensational football, really nice passing moves, and our second goal was lovely. Really nice build up down the left hand side, crossed in by Davy Prupper, and the Dutch midfielder plays Tony, playing the guitar as he makes it 2-0, bags his brace, and what a start from Ivan Toney and Sheffield United. We were looking so good out there in the first half, completely in control, and in the 44th minute, Alfredo Morelos just summed it all up, sent through one-on-one, chips it over the goalkeeper for his first European goal in a Sheffield United shirt. And as I talked about when we signed him in episode 2 of the new season, Morelos has got an amazing record, well, you know, I say amazing, a very good record in the Europa League for Rangers this season. He is one of the top scorers in the competition. That's one of the big reasons why we brought him in. He is going to start the vast majority, if not all of our Europa League group games, and he's already up and running in match day 1. So 3-0 Sheffield United in complete control at the break, and that continued in the second half as well. 10 minutes after the restart, Oliver McBurney comes off the bench and already grabs his second goal of the season. So a great start for our number 9 this year, making it 4-0, and his stoppage time still completely in control. 4 goals up, lovely build up here as McBurney turns provider, rolls it through, and Morelos joins Tony with his second goal of the game. I wanted to make a statement away in Vienna after a tough start, and I was saying, crisis, what crisis, in the post-match interview. 5-0 in our first ever European game. Morelos and Tony both bagging brace, and I must say Ivan played really well before being subbed off early in the second half, as did Scott McKenna, keeping a clean sheet in this game away in Austria. That's the response I needed from our 2 team leaders out there. A really good performance from both of them, and a great team display as well. 5-0 the final score, the perfect way to start our first ever European campaign and pull ourselves out of that mini slump to start the season off. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So a big thank you for watching. We hope you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.